Welcome to Horsepower Hour on Hillsdale TV, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is our regularly scheduled time slot. You can mark this on your calendar. Saturday afternoons, 1 p.m., and today we're going to talk about the Engine Pro Sprints on Dirt. They were at the Butler Motor Speedway last weekend. A tight points race in the Engine Pro Sprints on Dirt and a tight battle on the track. It's all coming up on today's edition of Horsepower Hour on Hillsdale TV.
To most banks, everyone looks the same. Because they don't see you, all they see are numbers and statistics. That may not matter until you need a loan. But County National Bank sees you as an individual with value beyond what shows on a credit report. CNB is a local bank with local lenders using local appraisers who work harder to get you the loan you need. Everyone is not the same. We're local, just like you. CNB, banking that stays in the community.
So we're down here pit side with Butler regular Doug Zimmerman. And Doug, talk to me a little bit about what it takes to get ready for a show like tonight where the rules are a little different and the sprints on dirt come to town.
Well, the competition's a little stiffer, obviously. The more they pay, the better the cars are that show up. As far as the car goes, pretty much everything's the same. They do have a tire rule. We have to run their tire. So we put that tire on. It's a little bit smaller. We make adjustments to that tire, go from there.
What does that do to you? I know that the tire is a little bit smaller, and my understanding is that it hopes to cut guys like you who are running the 410 down to maybe even the field out. Is that my understanding?
Yeah, but just between you and I, Zach, I can't tell if it's a little tire or a big tire. I can't tell the difference.
So your strategy is the same, hold it to the pan.
Yeah. Hopefully the car drives the same with these small tires. It's worked out really well. Makes 410s, 360s even, and I personally can't tell the difference.
You had a good run in the heat race, run second, had a couple chances where you were able to show your front wing and just couldn't get around. What do you have to do different in the feature?
We're going to tighten the car up. It's pretty dry, pretty slick. We haven't had any rain, so I don't know. The dry slicks aren't my forte. Don't like them, right. So we're gonna do what we can and try to muster what we can out of this deal.
Well, and that was going to be my next question, too. Without giving away your secrets to the rest of Sprint Car Island here, there's no cushion in 1 and 2, but there is a cushion in 3 and 4. How do you balance that out? How do you keep from sailing to Clarendon Road and then keep from, pushing through the cushion?
I wasn't aware of that. Thanks for telling me.
Hey, there you go.
You set up for what I'm going to call the worser of two evils. So you set up for the dry slick and let the car take care of it on the other end, or adjust your driving a little bit accordingly.
All right, sounds good. I appreciate the interview, and maybe we'll be talking to you in a couple minutes. Down in Victory Lane as part of the Engine Pro Sprints on Dirt presented by ARP. $2,100 to win here at the Driven Racing Oil Butler Bash here at the Butler Motor Speedway.
In this moment, what matters most is the quality of your independent agent.
Glad you're okay, Sarah. We'll take care of everything.
And the company that stands behind them. Auto Owners Insurance.
More Insurance Service is your local independent auto owners insurance agency.
We're here with Steve Irwin, the current Sprints on Dirt points leader. And Steve, you had a good run in your heat race, and you've only got a 10-point lead coming into tonight. What do you have to do to have a good run in the feature?
Well, we're not that great here at Butler, you know, and Chad Blond and Doug Zimmerman, them guys got this place down. If we can get a top 5 and get out of here and score some points on the 17 car and the 41 car and move on to the next deal, I mean, we got to look at the big picture here. But I mean, if we get a chance to try to win the race, we're going to try to win the race.
Now, I haven't had a chance to look at the starting lineups yet. I don't know if you've seen them either. What do you? This track is notorious for being a single lane racing surface. How do you try and work your way through? If you start even 3 rows back, it can be difficult.
I've never had any luck trying to be aggressive, so I'm just going to try to fall in line, and hopefully my car's better and kind of use, you know, more like a pavement guy type strategy, unless everybody's taking off and moving around and making moves. But I mean, that's just part of dirt track racing. You can have a plan and it could be out the window, you know, 10 foot after the start finish line.
So we're about halfway through, well, a little less than halfway through your Engine Pro Sprints on Dirt season so far. How do you stay consistent? How do you make sure that you keep that top spot as you move forward?
Well, I mean, these heat races are tough. I mean, that's why we race so hard in the heat race. You got to get in a redraw spot. So I mean, most of your tough racing in the heat race, which that format works out good because then we're not laying back and you know, relying on a qualifying time or whatever. You got to race hard all night long in this odd deal so that you can start out front and have a chance to win. But I mean, you just got to run top 5s, and you know, we're starting to get up there. We run some top 3s last weekend, and you know, the wins will come, but you got to be careful because if you stuff it in the fence, you ain't going to get any points. So that's just what we got to do.
All right, sounds good. He's going to look to keep that points lead going tonight as he takes on the rest of the Engine Pro Sprints on Dirt field for $2,100 to win right here at the Butler Battlegrounds. So, Steve Irwin, one of the drivers to watch as we get set to watch last week's racing action from the Butler Motor Speedway. Watch that 0 car. Watch the number 41. He was second in points last week in the Engine Pro Sprints on Dirt. Thomas Schinderly, he was close enough that he could leapfrog Steve Irwin in points if Steve had a bad night. So, let's get into it now. 30 laps is the distance around the 3/8 high-banked oval of the Butler Motor Speedway. It's the Engine Pro Sprints on Dirt presented by ARP. And one more quick thing, headphone users, beware. The announcer out there at the Speedway, he's a little crazy. So let's get into it now. Engine Pro Sprints on Dirt on Horsepower Hour. Get up on your feet. Wave your hats, wave your hands, wave your friends, wave your neighbors, and make some noise for the Engine Pro Sprints on Dirt. Presented by ARP, $2,100 to win. Main event here tonight at the Butler Bash. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
Greg Bowman, Robert Bullock, Troy Chahowski, your top 5 as we get set to turn them loose. $2,100 to win. Engine Pro Sprints on Dirt. Here we go. Down into turn number 1, Doug Zimmerman takes the early lead as Steinbaugh has problems off turn 2. He'll jump back onto the speedway in about 5th spot. Whoa, Troy Chahowski almost collects Robert Bullock out of turn number 4. Meanwhile, at the front, Doug Zimmerman leads the way. Greg Dahlman runs in 2nd. Robert Bullock has the 3rd spot. Battles for 4th between Troy Chahowski and Jay Steinbaugh. They get it separated as they go into turn number 3. 3 wide out of turn number 4 for 4th spot. Trahowski was in the middle. They make it work. Steinbaugh on the top shelf is going to have the 4th spot. He's got company now from the 41 of Thomas Schinderly. Yellow flag. Robert Bullock goes around in the middle of turn number 2. Whoa! Aldridge almost slides in and collects himself as the 47 of Robert Bullock goes around in turn number 2. We had 3 wide racing in the top 5 for the first 2 laps of tonight's Engine Pro Sprints on Dirt, presented by ARP. It's the Driven Racing Oil Butler Bash World War III right here at the Butler Motor Speedway. You see the Engine Pro Sprints on Dirt track official putting a cone right at the flag stand. This is different from our weekly sprint car series. There is no passing until the cone in the Sprints on Dirt. So they'll take the green and they have to stay single file until they get past that cone on the front stretch. Zimmerman leads. Dahlman rides in second. Schinderly is third. Steinbaugh fourth. Troy Chahowski is fifth. Litchfield native Chad Blond rides in the 6th spot. Steve Irwin is 7th. Boston Meade 8th. Ryan Rule 9th. And again, it's Dane Niata rounding out your top 10 as we go bumper to bumper down the back straightaway. Watch them as they come out of 4. No passing until the cone. It's $2,100 to win in the Engine Pro Sprints on Dirt presented by ARP. Green flag back in the air. Zimmerman jumps out and maintains that lead. Chad Blond got under Troy Chahowski. They made contact coming out of turn number 2. They keep it going in the right direction. It's single file through the top 9 spots. Ryan Rule goes to the outside. He's going to go past Troy Chahowski. Put him in to the 7th spot as they go into turn number 1. Doug Zimmerman sets the pace. Greg Dahlman rides in second. Thomas Schinderly has the 3rd spot. Chad Blond is up to 4th. Steinbaugh 5th. Irwin still rides 6th. Ryan Rule is up to 7th. Whoa, trouble, turn 2. Nick Rogers goes around in that 16 machine. He'll spin to the infield, and that's a minor yellow flag given what it could have been as he spun around right in front of a group of about 6 cars down there in turn number 2. The no passing cone comes back out to the flag stand. That means that we are ready to turn things back over to Tim Beebe in the flag stand where he's ready to turn these guys loose. Doug Zimmerman, Greg Dahlman, your top 2 cars. Thomas Schinderly in 3rd, Chad Blond 4th. Steinbaugh rounds out your top 5 as we get set to turn them loose once again. Engine Pro Sprints on Dirt presented by ARP. $2,100 to win. Green flag back in the air. Chad Blond around the outside of Schinderly out of turn number 2. He's battling for the 3rd spot. Schinderly got a good run off the corner, though. He battled back on the inside, but Blond's got the preferred line out of 4. Move Blond into the 3rd spot. He's got his sights set now on Greg Dahlman. Trouble for your Engine Pro Sprints on Dirt points leader, Steve Irwin. He's off the pace off turn 4, and he's going to try and take it pit side if he can make the hill. He can't do it. He's going to come to a stop at the top of turn number 1. Tough break for the Engine Pro Sprints on Dirt points leader, Steve Irwin. He came into the night just 10 points in front of 2nd spot.
There's a reason that professionals shop at Jonesville Lumber. They expect quality, service, and knowledge. And that's exactly what they receive. For nearly 100 years, Jonesville Lumber has been family-owned. We take pride in serving our area with great products at competitive prices. We have dedicated project estimators in-house that will help figure the materials needed to complete your next task at hand. Whether you're building your dream home, adding a pole barn, building a deck, updating your kitchen, or painting your front door, let Jonesville Lumber help you with your next project.
Who here's got their money on local driver Doug Zimmerman? Anybody think Greg Dahlman's going to get around him? What about Chad Blond? We'll see what happens as we come out of turn number 4. Green flag back in the air. Through turns 1 and 2, Dahlman gets loose. Chad Blond goes to the inside. He's around Dahlman. Whoa, trouble. Turn 2, the number 77. That's piloted by Andrew Sheed. He goes around in the middle of the field. Looks like the rear axle on that car may have twisted out from underneath that chassis. Troy Chahowski with problems in turn number 4. He finds himself on top of a tractor tire. Bumper down the back straightaway. Doug Zimmerman perhaps with the most experience on this track, but Chad Blond could give him a run for his money as we get set to turn him loose through turns 3 and 4. Engine Pro Sprints on Dirt presented by ARP. Here we go out of turn 4. Green flag back in the air. Chad Blond goes to the outside this time around. Greg Dahlman out of turn number 2. Side by side, it's a drag race down the backstretch. Give Blond the advantage into turn 3, and he slams the door on the inside. Now he's going to look to the bottom side of Doug Zimmerman off turn 4. Zimmerman maintains a 3-car length lead. Zimmerman now protects the bottom through turns 1 and 2. That's right where Chad Blond wants to run. 2 car lengths is the distance between Zimmerman and Chad Blond at the front. Greg Dahlman falling now. Schinderly gets around him for 3rd spot. Dahlman back to 4th. Meade holds on to 5th, but he's got company in Ryan Rule. Now Ryan Rule's got company. Steinball went to the top shelf, over-rotated, had to check up. He's going to lose some distance on Ryan Rule. Back to the front now. Doug Zimmerman still leads. Chad Blond keeping the distance at about 2 car lengths. Schinderly rides in 3rd. He's about 10 car lengths back. Then it's Greg Dahlman. But the battle to watch is at the front between 2 drivers with perhaps the most laps around of active sprint car drivers. It's Doug Zimmerman and Chad Blond. If there's any 2 drivers you want battling for the win at the Butler Motor Speedway, it's these 2, and they're going at it right now. Blond to the inside. Zimmerman works the middle. Zimmerman got the run off turn 2. He puts some distance on Chad, but Blond's going to reel him back in now as they come off turn number 4. Closing in on lap traffic. This is where things could get interesting as Doug Zimmerman is going to have to tiptoe around some of these drivers that he hasn't raced against all season long. This is where Chad Blond may have the advantage. Blond has been running with the Engine Pro Sprints on Dirt presented by ARP all season long. As we have crossed flags, we're halfway home. Zimmerman goes way high. That allows Blond to the inside. They pull right alongside each other at the stand. Now Zimmerman right along the bottom. He over-rotates, your leader spins. Doug Zimmerman goes around in turns 1 and 2. That's going to hand it over to Chad Blond. Doug Zimmerman, your race leader, went to pitch it in underneath of Troy Chahowski to get around lap traffic. Over-rotated and couldn't keep it going in the right direction. Doug Zimmerman is going to have to go to the tail as he brings out the caution flag on the Engine Pro Sprints on Dirt presented by ARP, Driven Racing Oil's Butler Bash, $2,100 to win feature event.
for the generations who have counted on us, and for the generations who will. Auto Owners Insurance.
More insurance services in Hillsdale is your local independent auto owners insurance agency.
Lineup checks out. They're going green and 4 with Chad Blond, Thomas Schinderly, Greg Dahlman, Ryan Rule, and Boston Mead. Your top 5 as we go back to green flag racing. Ryan Rule to the outside of Greg Dahlman. He's going to try and move into that 3rd spot. Can't quite get it done that time as Dahlman fights back on the inside. Dahlman's going to scrub some speed, though, off turn 4. Move Ryan Rule into the 3rd spot. Chad Blond continues to lead. Thomas Schinderly runs in the 2nd spot. Ryan Rule up to 3rd. Greg Dahlman 4th. Boston Mead in the 5th spot. Yellow flag on the speedway. Thomas Schinderly, Ryan Rule, Greg Dahlman, Boston Mead. Your top 5 as they get set to turn them loose out of turn 4. The Engine Pro Sprints on Dirt presented by ARP, Driven Racing Oil, Butler Bash. Here we go. Green flag back in the air. Ryan Rule now to the outside of Schinderly. Whoa, Boston Mead goes around. He collects Niati with him. Looks like Joe Swanson goes around and comes to a stop as well. Boston Mead goes around in turn number 2, collects Dane Niata. Joe Swanson looks to be an innocent bystander that got caught up in that as well. Bunch them up down the back straightaway with Chad Blond, Thomas Schinderly, Ryan Rule, Greg Dahlman, Jay Steinbaugh. Your top 5 for the Engine Pro Sprints on Dirt. Here we go. Green flag back in the air. Blond gets a good start. Ryan Rule to the outside of Schinderly. Schinderly's going to push him up the track just a little bit off turn number 2. That'll scrub his momentum, but he's going to try and fight back on the outside of turn number 4. Schinderly works the bottom and comes up off the corner to shut the door on Ryan Rule. He's going to do it again in turn number 2. But Ryan Rule able to go to the inside off turn 2. Schinderly scrubbed the speed. Now Ryan Rule drives underneath of him in 3 and 4. Schinderly battles back on the inside, though not going to be able to get it done. Put Ryan Rule in the 2nd spot. Now the task at hand for Ryan Rule is to reel in that Anderson Graphic and Design number 5 of Chad Blond. Chad Blond sets the pace. Ryan Rule runs 2nd. Schinderly is 3rd. Greg Dahlman 4th. 5th is Steinbaugh. Then the battles for 6th spot between Aldridge and Steve Irwin. Irwin has battled his way from the tail all the way back up to 6th spot. He's in 7th right now, but he's got a mission to get around Mark Aldridge. Now Josh Turner looking to the outside of Irwin to try and take that 6th spot away. Single file racing throughout much of the field. Not a whole lot going on until we look at Irwin, as Irwin tries to run that bottom line. Josh Turner now going to go to the outside, move Josh Turner into the 7th spot as he gets around Steve Irwin. Meanwhile, 2 laps to go for your leader, Chad Blond, as he works his way off turn number 2. He's got a full straightaway lead over Ryan Rule and Thomas Schinderly. White flag in the air, 1 more lap to go. He's got the distance. Just 1 more set of corners as he works his way into lap traffic. Easy does it off turn number 4. Checkered flag in the air. Feature winner, Chad Blond.
For the generations who have counted on us, and for the generations who will. Auto Owners Insurance.
More insurance services in Hillsdale is your local independent auto owners insurance agency.
There's a reason the professionals shop at Jonesville Lumber. They receive quality, service, and knowledge. For nearly 100 years, Jonesville Lumber has been serving our community with great products at competitive prices. Let Jonesville Lumber help you with your next project. The Sunrise Shops are here to serve you. Stop in and try one of our signature coffee blends, or even try one of our 16-head fountain sodas. With convenient locations in Jonesville, Sunrise Shops are always right around the corner.
But me and him have been racing together for a long time. He's a really good driver, and it's fun to have him out here. So yeah, just sad that he did get caught up in the traffic like that. But it's happened to me plenty of times too.
Last thing, real quick, talk about those restarts. We saw you gain lots of time on drivers when you had those restarts. It was like you were shot out of a cannon.
Yeah, it took me a few times for a restart. I start up in different spots every time, and that's what you're supposed to do. And, I found the sweet spot that I liked, and, it seemed to work out for me and picked the right front up going down the front stretch. So, yeah, it's a good sign when you got right front in the air going down the straightaway. So that means you're getting a lot of grip.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight's Driven Racing Oil Engine Pro Sprints on Dirt presented by ARP. $2,100 winner, that's Chad Blond. So Chad Blond picks up the $2,100 to win feature event at the Butler Motor Speedway. And what an event it was. Wow is the word to describe that. Multi-time feature winner Doug Zimmerman makes a mistake trying to go through lap traffic. He knows that Chad Blond's right there, and Doug Zimmerman got around in turn 1, lost the lead. That other caution that we had that wasn't mentioned was Doug Zimmerman actually going off the top of turn number 4, and that would be his second caution, which would send him pit side. We'll look now at the points in the Engine Pro Sprints on Dirt, and as of June 19th, with that bad run for Steve Irwin, Thomas Schinderly is the new points leader in the Sprints on Dirt. He's got a narrow margin, though, just a 6-point gap between he and Steve Irwin, and then your feature winner, Chad Blond, sits in third, just some 16 points. Make that 12 points back of Thomas Schinderly. And then another name that we mentioned that had kind of a rough night was Dane Nayada. Greg Dolman rounds out your top 5 in the Engine Pro Sprints on Dirt. So, a lot happening, and a lot more to talk about as well. I want to let you know that today's show is also being brought to you by Nash Drugs. Their commercial is currently in production, so we get to do a little live spot about them. Nash Drugs is your local Health Mart pharmacy with locations in Jonesville, Hillsdale, and the Market Pharmacy. 3 convenient locations all for you to check out. It's Nash Drugs, and we're proud to have them on Hillsdale TV. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about some local points standings. We'll also update you on the Horsepower Hour recording schedule, not our broadcast schedule. Our broadcast schedule is Saturdays at 1 p.m. It's Horsepower Hour right here on Hillsdale TV.
To most banks, everyone looks the same. Because they don't see you, all they see are numbers and statistics. That may not matter until you need a loan. But County National Bank sees you as an individual with value beyond what shows on a credit report. CNB is a local bank with local lenders using local appraisers who work harder to get you the loan you need. Everyone is not the same. We're local, just like you. CNB, banking that stays in the community.
It's nothing personal. It's just business.
Hello?
That's how some people do things.
Right away.
To us, everything we do is personal. Because anyone can answer the call. It's who shows up that matters most. That's the quality of your independent agent and the company that stands behind them.
More insurance services in Hillsdale is your local independent auto owners insurance agency.
Welcome back to Horsepower Hour on Hillsdale TV. I'm your host, Zack Hiser. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hey, do want to let you know that we are streaming live on 3 different applications, if you will, or servers, if you will. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Hillsdale TV. We're streaming live there. We are also on YouTube. Check out our YouTube channel, Hillsdale TV. And naturally, we're live on HillsdaleTV.com. So however you can get your Horsepower Hour on Saturday afternoons, make sure you get it done. Facebook, YouTube, or HillsdaleTV.com. A lot of stuff happening locally in the motorsports world. Let's talk about the Butler Motor Speedway tonight. A very special night at the Butler Motor Speedway. The next 2 weeks, actually, are special nights out there at the track. Tonight is the Barry Hilliard Memorial, the inaugural Barry Hilliard Memorial. Barry Hilliard lost his battle with cancer over the winter. He was the father of street stock champion in 2014, Dustin Hilliard, who, again, Barry lost his battle with cancer over the winter, and so they are having a memorial race there tonight. All 4 classes, top 3 divisions in the feature tonight, get trophies, and you want to see some good racing, tell drivers there's $25 worth of plastic on the line, and they will beat up multi-$1,000 cars for that plastic. As far as the point standings go out there at the Butler Motor Speedway, every single race is a tight one. We'll start with the street stock division, and that is a division that's dominated right now by Bob Dooley. He's your current points leader. Just 48 points back, though. Consistent runs by Glenn Heath puts him in second spot, and the other driver to watch is Sean McFeeters, who is just 85 points back as of the conclusion of last week's show. So the street stock division, all the top 3 drivers just separated by 85 points. You move on to the sprint car division, which we run weekly at the Butler Motor Speedway, 410s and 360s mixed. That's a great battle between 2 veteran drivers out there at the track, Doug Zimmerman and Ken Mackey, separated by just 20 points. As they head into tonight's competition, look for them to be heating up that points battle as well. Both of those drivers go out there every week just looking for wins. I don't think either one of them is actually points racing. You move on to the front wheel drive, or make that the modified division. That's the tightest points race we have going on right now out there at the Speedway. Steve Schellenberger and Tim Wilbur are battling it out for the UMP Track Championship right now, and we're just under halfway home. Steve Schellenberger has a 9-point advantage over Tim Wilbur, and then the next closest person is Josh Lamal, who's 27 points out of the top spot. Front-wheel drive division's pretty close, too. One bad night, and everybody could leapfrog Tim Wilbur, who has a 21-point advantage over second spot Austin Dreyer, and very close points racing happening all throughout all 5 divisions. Make that 4 divisions at the Butler Motor Speedway. So if you get the chance to head on out there and check out the racing action, 7:30 sharp, and it's the Barry Hilliard Memorial tonight. It's the Josh Hadley Memorial next weekend, July 1st. If dirt track racing is not really your style, there's another track very close to you that you can check out. And the same sort of thing applies. They've got some really great points racing going on up at the Springport Mid-Michigan Speedway. They race on Saturday nights as well. That's a pavement track, no dirt to get in your face, or, you know, I'm a dirt guy, so I don't know why you wouldn't want to go to dirt, but I enjoy the occasional pavement race as well. They've got tight points racing going on as well in their ABC stock division, the Autolab ABC stocks. It's just a 31-point difference between John Trudell and J.D. Hancock. That's the quote-unquote street stock division out there at the Springport Mid-Michigan Speedway. Just a 31-point difference there. In their B standings, Dale Lewis has a 49-point advantage over Dave Foster. Elsewhere in their points standings, at Springport, your barn stocks or your front-wheel drive division, Darrell Harmon leads the way with just a 7-point lead over second spot Jesse Nobach. So tight points racing there. The Mountain Dew Modified division, that's the closest points battle we've got a chance to talk about here tonight. Niall Well versus Phil Mossick. Just a 1-point advantage for Niall Well in the Mountain Dew Modified division. Check the schedule, see when they're on it for Springport, because you're going to want to get out there and check out all the happenings. We're going to get an opportunity to film this next group of cars coming up next weekend. It's the Napa Outlaw Late Model Series at the Springport Mid-Michigan Speedway, and they've got a tight points battle too. Leading the way is Joey Barnhart, but right behind him, just 2 points back, is Chris Garrett in the Outlaw Late Model division at the Springport Mid-Michigan Speedway. So a lot of tight racing happening all over the area right now, and we're happy to bring you updates on it. And tell you what, we're going to talk about our recording schedule coming up and where you can see Hillsdale TV recording for Horsepower Hour. We'll talk about that after this. It's Horsepower Hour on Hillsdale TV.
There's a reason that professionals shop at Jonesville Lumber. They expect quality, service, and knowledge. And that's exactly what they receive. For nearly 100 years, Jonesville Lumber has been family owned. We take pride in serving our area with great products at competitive prices. We have dedicated project estimators in-house that will help figure the materials needed to complete your next task at hand. Whether you're building your dream home, adding a pole barn, building a deck, updating your kitchen, or painting your front door, let Jonesville Lumber help you with your next project.
The Saucy Dogs is the name, and barbecue is the game. Come on down for a good time and some great food. At Saucy Dogs, try our barbecue nachos or our tasty ribs. We'll have you howling for more. Saucy Dogs, downtown Jonesville.
Welcome back to Horsepower Hour on Hillsdale TV. I'm your host, Zack Hiser, and we're going to take a look at the Horsepower Hour recording schedule. Can you see that? No, you can't see that, so I'm going to read it to you. And this is going to kind of give you the diversity of shows that we're excited to bring you, our viewers, on Horsepower Hour on Hillsdale TV. As we talked about, July 2nd, Springport Mid-Michigan Speedway in Springport, Michigan. We're going to bring you the Outlaw Super Late Model 75 laps happening out there July 2nd, this next Sunday. We'll be out there recording for that. It's actually the beginning of a busy week, Sunday, July 2nd is, because on Friday, July 7th, we'll be going a little bit further north to the Spartan Speedway, where they're going to have a lot of fun on that Friday, July 7th. School bus, figure eights, how about flagpole races, and just regular old figure eights. Well, not the regular old, the trailer variety, where they hook the trailer to the back of the tow vehicle and do the figure eight. Yeah, that's going to be some carnage, and we're going to bring it to you here on Horsepower Hour. After that, Saturday, July 8th, look for us down in Waldron, Michigan for the Firefighters Hot Zone Truck Pulls featuring the Mini Tractor Pulling Association. They're going to be down there as well, part of a big weekend down in Waldron. Haven't got our credentials for this one yet, but it is on the schedule. We hope to go to Kalamazoo Speedway on Thursday, July 20th, where they will have the Royal Purple King of the Wing Super Sprint Cars in the house. That Thursday, July 20th show, we hope to be able to bring that one to you. After that, we look to go to the Lenawee County Fairgrounds on Sunday, July 23rd, where the National Tractor Pulling Association will be in action. Again, haven't got our credentials for that one yet, but we are looking to bring you that show. After that, we look to Friday, July 28th. Hartford Motor Speedway, the Craftsman World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series, will be in action on that 3/8 of a mile track, which is new to the Craftsman World of Outlaws. They are used to running that half mile out there at Hartford, so this is going to be a different racing surface, different configuration for the World of Outlaws. You get into August, we're back at Spartan Speedway August 6th for the 100-lap modified event at Spartan. That's going to be a dandy. Monday, August 7th, we go to the Branch County Fairgrounds for street legal truck pulls and semi-pulls. Then Friday, August 11th through the 13th, we head back to the Michigan International Speedway to cover the second NASCAR weekend happening at MIS. August 16th, we travel south, and we go way south. We're going down to Fort Wayne to Bearfield for the American Ethanol Late Model Series, and that's going to be a dandy down there at the new quarter-mile dirt track on the property of Bearfield. Friday, August 18th, we'll be back at the I-96 Speedway, where we will be covering the Michigan Traditional Sprint Car Series, or the MTS Wingless Sprints, down at I-96. Then we get right into September. Saturday, September 2nd, we look to go back to Kalamazoo and be there for their Call of the Wild event, where they try to break the world record on the Kalamazoo Speedway. Then September 9th, we go down to Oakshade. September 24th, we're at the Hillsdale County Fairgrounds for the Monster Truck event. And after that, the schedule's wide open, and we're going to see what we can bring you to keep you entertained on Horsepower Hour here on Hillsdale TV. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll sign off, and we'll get you a little bit more racing action here on Horsepower Hour on Hillsdale TV.
It's nothing personal. It's just business.
Hello?
That's how some people do things.
Right away.
To us, everything we do is personal. Because anyone can answer the call. It's who shows up that matters most. That's the quality of your independent agent and the company that stands behind them.
More Insurance Services in Hillsdale is your local independent auto owners insurance agency.
There's a reason that professionals shop at Jonesville Lumber. They expect quality, service, and knowledge. And that's exactly what they receive. For nearly 100 years, Jonesville Lumber has been family owned. We take pride in serving our area with great products at competitive prices. We have dedicated project estimators in-house that will help figure the materials needed to complete your next task at hand. Whether you're building your dream home, adding a pole barn, building a deck, updating your kitchen, or painting your front door, let Jonesville Lumber help you with your next project.
The Saucy Dogs is the name, and barbecue is the game. Come on down for a good time and some great food. At Saucy Dogs, try our barbecue nachos or our tasty ribs. We'll have you howling for more. Saucy Dogs, downtown Jonesville.
Horsepower Hour on Hillsdale TV. I'm your host, Zack Hiser. Again, want to thank everybody for tuning in, whether it be all three or one of the three ways that you can watch this program. Saturday afternoons, 1 p.m., right here on Hillsdale TV. However you're watching it, be prepared to watch it that way throughout the summer, whether it be facebook.com/HillsdaleTV, HillsdaleTV.com, or on YouTube at Hillsdale TV. Talk about great coverage. If you're a potential sponsor of the Hillsdale TV, get a hold of us. We have a pamphlet. We'll fill you in. All the details are right there. And if you don't need a pamphlet, if you're like, hey, sign me up, whatever your package is that you want me to be a part of, 517-581-9519, and we'll get you to be a part of the Hillsdale TV sponsor. Just like Nash Drugs. We don't have their commercial done yet, but we're going to drive it home. Nash Drugs, your local Health Mart pharmacy serving Jonesville and Hillsdale, 3 convenient locations in Hillsdale. The Market Pharmacy inside the Hillsdale Market House, and the convenient location on US 12 in Jonesville. I tell you what, we've had a great show. Again, mark your calendars. This is going to be the regular time for the program. Anything outside of Saturdays at 1 o'clock is bonus coverage for you, the fans of Horsepower Hour. If you've got something that you'd like for us to cover, if you've got something circled on your calendar that you're saying, hey, this would be pretty cool to talk about on Horsepower Hour, especially if it's coming up after September or maybe into the winter months, let us know. Message us on Facebook, Hillsdale TV. You can even message me personally, Zack Hiser, ZACHHISER. And if I don't think adding you on Facebook will put us both on the 8 o'clock news, I'll go ahead and add you, and we can talk about what you think should be featured here on Horsepower Hour. That looks like all the time that we're going to have for today. We've got some bonus coverage from last week's racing at the Butler Motor Speedway from the Street Stock Division lined up for you. Go ahead and take a watch and take a listen. And again, don't forget, lots of stuff happening this weekend in the racing world. It's the Barry Hilliard Memorial at the Butler Motor Speedway. They've got a big weekend of racing going on at Springport, Mid-Michigan Speedway tonight. Tomorrow, if you're looking for something to do out at the I-96 Speedway, they've got the American Ethanol Late Model, Modified, and Mini Wedge Association all lined up for tomorrow afternoon. Racing starts at 6 o'clock. And speaking of I-96, a little preview for next week's show. We hope you'll join us same time, same place for Great Lakes Super Sprint action from the I-96 Speedway. And I'll give you a little hint. We tore up some race cars last night at the I-96 Speedway. So we hope you'll join us again next Saturday, 1 p.m. right here on Hillsdale TV for Horsepower Hour. I'm your host, Zack Hiser, producing the show to this afternoon, Scott Pienta. Thanks again so much for watching, and be sure to support those who support us and short track racing, all of our sponsors, including Nash Drugs. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great afternoon. Dooley and Carlisle, bumper to bumper, door to door, wheel to wheel through 3 and 4. Pick your favorite. Who's going to win it? Here we go. Sadger jumps out to the early lead. Heath and McFeeters get together. McFeeters is going to come out with the second spot. McFeeters runs in second. Heath goes off the top, so does Andrew Sullivan as they come out of turn number 4, yellow flag. And all of that is going to be null and void, a complete restart for Street Stock feature event. So Jeremy Sadger and Glenn Heath are your front row. Sean McFaster's McFeeders. Inside row number 2, then it's Dustin Danke, Bob Dooley, Matt Carlisle, Elsie Kipp, Charles Smith, Keith Hiller, Cheryl DeShaw, John Reeve, Levi Collins, Steve Webb, and Bob Cundiff. And Andrew Sullivan is going to take that car pit side. Lineup checks out. They bunch it up down the backstretch. We are going green in 4. Bumper to bumper, door to door, wheel to wheel. Out of turn 4. Green flag back in the air. Jeremy Sadger jumps out to the early lead. Heath on the top shelf. McFeeders on the bottom. That's the battle for second. McFeeders got a good run off turn 2. Heath powers back on the outside. McFeeders is going to drive it in deep into 3 and 4. He's going to slide up and close the door off turn number 4. Put Sean McFeeders into the second spot. Jeremy Sadger leads. Sean McFeeders runs in second. Then it's Glenn Heath and Bob Dooley. Dustin Danke rounds out your top 5. Single file through the top 5. The battle's for 6th between Danke and LZ Kipp. They go single file now through turns 3 and 4. Sean McFeeders right on the back door, though, of Jeremy Sadger into turn number 1. McFeeders goes to the bottom. Sadger works the top shelf. McFeeders looking inside as they go into turn number 3. Sadger works the middle. McFeeders a half a groove below him as they come out of turn number 4. Can't quite get it done that time. It'll stay Sadger, McFeeders, Heath, Dooley, and Carlisle, your top 5. Battle for 7th now between LZ Kipp. He's going to go off the top of 3 and 4. No, he saves it. He'll stay on the racing surface. Keith Hiller slides into that 6th spot. Bob Cundiff goes around in the bottom side of turn number 2. He'll whip that thing into the infield so we can stay green. McFeeders gets a great run on Jeremy Sadger going into turn 3, but he's going to check up. Whoa, trouble. Dustin Danke goes around in the middle of turns 3 and 4. That's going to bring out the first caution, second caution flag of tonight's Street Stock feature event. So Jeremy Sadger sets the pace. Sean McFeeders is second, and McFeeders has a quicker car through the center of the corner. Just can't quite find room to get around Sadger. Glenn Heath runs in third. He's been right there the whole time. 4-time feature winner already this season, Bob Dooley. He rides in the 4th spot. Last week's feature winner, Matt Carlisle, rounds out the top 5. Here's the call on the incident in turns 3 and 4. Keith Hiller will go to the tail for rough driving. Dustin Danke in the 357 will get his spot back. So Dustin Danke will get his spot back, and Keith Hiller will head to the tail.
To most banks, everyone looks the same. Because they don't see you, all they see are numbers and statistics. That may not matter until you need a loan. But County National Bank sees you as an individual with value beyond what shows on a credit report. CNB is a local bank with local lenders using local appraisers who work harder to get you the loan you need. Everyone is not the same. We're local, just like you. CNB, banking that stays in the community.
There's a reason the professionals shop at Jonesville Lumber. They receive quality, service, and knowledge. For nearly 100 years, Jonesville Lumber has been serving our community with great products at competitive prices. Let Jonesville Lumber help you with your next project.
So lineup checks out. We'll get the one to go signal. Jeremy Sadger leads the way. Sean McFeeters is second. Glenn Heath third. Bob Dooley in fourth. Matt Carlisle fifth. Keith Hiller gets the sixth spot. Elsie Kipp seventh. Charles Smith is eighth. John Reeve is ninth. And Levi Collins rounds out your top 10. Bumper to bumper down the back straightaway. As they pick it up, green flag back in the air. Single file through the top 8, 9 spots. The battle is for 9th between Levi Collins and John Reeve. McFeeters all over the back door of Jeremy Sadger. McFeeters does have the faster car. He just can't get around him out of the corner. Battle for third now. Dooley to the inside of Heath off turn number 2. They tuck it back into line. You could lay a blanket over the top 5 cars right now. They're all bottlenecked up behind your leader, Jeremy Sadger. McFeeters runs the middle. He's leaving the top side open. He'll tuck back into line down the backstretch. Glenn Heath had that car kick sideways halfway down the backstretch. He's not getting the power to the ground. Watch those top 5 cars. They are all evenly matched as they come out of turn 2. McFeeters got a wheel up next to Sadger, but Sadger pulled him off the corner. Now McFeeters stays to the inside in 3 and 4, checks up and thinks better of it, gets back into line. Glenn Heath now trying to put himself to the outside of that 99M. McFeeters works the middle now. Dooley to the inside of Heath, and Carlisle was to the inside of Dooley. They were 3 wide for third. Off turn number 4, crossed flags, 10 laps up, 10 laps down in the Street Stock feature event. McFeeters working the middle, is able to pull right up to the rear quarter panel of Sadger, but can't quite get him cleared. Into 3 and 4, still single file through the top 7 cars. They've got a breakaway right now, 7-car breakaway. McFeeters with a good run to the inside of Sadger through turns 1 and 2. Trouble for McFeeters. He goes off the backstretch. That'll move Dooley into the 2nd spot. Glenn Heath is 3rd. Carlisle 4th. Keith Hiller has the 5th spot. Elsie Kipp is 6th. Sean McFeeters back to 7th. Sadger leads. Now it's Bob Dooley right on the back door as they go through 1 and 2. Dooley looks to the inside. He gets a good drive off the corner. Pulls up right alongside Jeremy Sadger down the backstretch. They make contact going into turn number 3. They rub door fenders. Jeremy Sadger keeps the lead. As they come up on lap traffic into turns 1 and 2, Steve Webb is going to hold him up. That's going to allow Dooley to go to the inside through turns 1 and 2. Bob Dooley gets the top spot, uses Webb as a pick. Move Bob Dooley into the lead. Steve Webb right in the way of these lead cars. Bob Dooley is now at the point. Jeremy Sadger runs in second. Glenn Heath is third. Matt Carlisle runs in fourth. Keith Hiller is fifth. Elsie Kipp runs sixth. And Sean McFeeters has that seventh spot. Battle for sixth. McFeeters to the inside of Kipp. Move McFeeters up to the sixth spot. Dooley still sets the pace. Sadger runs second. Glenn Heath is third. Fourth is Carlisle. Fifth is Glenn Heath. Or make that Keith Hiller. Battle for second now. Glenn Heath to the inside of Sadger going into three. Sadger pinches him down to the inside. Sadger bobbles. Now it's three wide for second spot off turn four. Carlisle to the outside. White flag in the air. Good racing for second spot. Now Carlisle goes over the edge. That's going to allow Heath back underneath of him. Hiller looked there too. Can't quite get it done. Meanwhile, off turn number four, checkered flag in the air for your feature winner, Bob Dooley. Second spot goes to Glenn Heath. Matt Carlisle brings home third. Put Keith Hiller in the fourth spot. Jeremy Sadger fifth. And Sean McFeeters in the sixth spot.
It's nothing personal. It's just business.
Hello?
That's how some people do things.
Right away.
To us, everything we do is personal. Because anyone can answer the call. It's who shows up that matters most. That's the quality of your independent agent and the company that stands behind them.
More insurance services in Hillsdale is your local independent auto owners insurance agency.
There's a reason that professionals shop at Jonesville Lumber. They expect quality, service, and knowledge. And that's exactly what they receive. For nearly 100 years, Jonesville Lumber has been family owned. We take pride in serving our area with great products at competitive prices. We have dedicated project estimators in-house that will help figure the materials needed to complete your next task at hand. Whether you're building your dream home, adding a pole barn, building a deck, updating your kitchen, or painting your front door, let Jonesville Lumber help you with your next project.
For the fifth time this season, Bob Dooley, I'm down here in Victory Lane after another feature win.
Yeah, I tell you what, that was a good one. It was slippery. It's taking rubber. I was having a hard time to get a bite at the beginning of it, but I love it.
We could lay a blanket over the top 7 cars there at the beginning of that race. Sadger had the top spot. McFeeters in second. Nobody could really get a good run coming off of 2. Talk about what it took to get around Sadger.
When McFeeters had his, I don't know what happened to Sean, but when he slowed up, it got Glenn held up a little bit, and that's what I needed. Then when I got to Sadger, I knew it was just a matter of time to follow him and wait for him to make a mistake.
You take a week off last week from being down here in Victory Lane. What's it like to be back?
I love it.
There you go, Lee. What was that?
I don't like being back in 8th or so. I don't mind 2nd, I don't mind 3rd, but you know what? You're going to lose sometime, and I don't mind it.
But nonetheless, he's back here for the 5th time this season. Tonight's Street Stock feature winner, Bob Dooley.